Council, this item asks you to join me in supporting state legislation that would allow our community to capture state sales tax revenues generated in a small area around the site of the proposed stadium. I believe there are some people signed up to speak to this.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me pull that up real quick.
Again, thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. What is being considered is a resolution on state legislation that would, or what we're being told is this is a resolution on state legislation that would create an option. However, it's been made explicitly clear that without the state legislation passing, the current proposal would not happen. So your vote tonight is not to consider another option, but to support the advancement of the current plan forward. So what does your vote mean tonight? It means you support taxpayer money being used to fund a baseball stadium instead of that money being used for Knox County schools, community safety, and essential community services. While the new development will require additional expenditures from the city, all of the new revenue from it will go to the stadium instead of funding Knox County schools in the city of Knoxville. You know, for instance, when asking for up to $85 million from the community, when you consider the cost of the stadium plus the infrastructure around the stadium. You know,
30 seconds left.
Sure, thank you. What the community wants should have been the first step.
The concern here is the push by county and city and state legislative officials for public funding for the stadium. Now, the city can work with legislatures to get money and create a little fiefdom for somebody to collect the tax revenue for their personal development. But are we working with the state legislature to make sure that we have proper funding for social services for the unhoused? Are we working with them so we don't have to keep sweeping up black stop camps? No, but we will work with them for the funding for the baseball stadium. That's a really interesting thing. You know, it's frustrating. Another thing that hits me in terms of development, I mean, how many people can ask for $65 million from the city and be put on the agenda for it? If I ask for $10 million, $5 million even, to develop Tennessee Avenue in Lonsdale and put up some of the businesses that used to exist in there. What about a movie theater, a pool hall, a restaurant? All of those used to exist in Lonsdale. Tennessee Avenue has vacant spaces. It has buildings that need to be developed. Can I ask for that money? How many ordinances and resolutions are you passing to help the average Knox County or Knoxville citizen get and secure funding for anything? How often are you working with the state legislature or with other cities and counties against the preemption laws that limit your ability as a local government to run your government effectively? But the fact that you're able and willing to do it on a baseball stadium shows us what your priorities are.
This resolution is not a planning resolution. This is you all voting to support the exact part of the stadium that so many people are against, taking tax dollars from public services and transferring that wealth directly to a bank, and more or less to Mr. Randy Boyd himself. The idea that revenue generated in this area is going to be entirely new is a fallacy. We already have parks and a convention center that loses money and many high-quality concert venues. This facility is just going to take away from what we're already, the business already occurring at those places. This stadium nonsense is incredibly frustrating and flies in the face of decades of research proving that these kinds of projects cost cities millions of dollars for little, if any, actual public benefit. And if so many people are already moving here that housing prices are up 20%, why do we need to build a stadium to attract more people? We need housing for working people, not a new stadium for an already wealthy landlord.
I just wanted to say a few words on this as well, since there's a lot of concern among everybody I've talked to. According to all the studies I've read on the issue, it's clear there's a really small chance that the stadium will actually generate enough revenue to be justified. Inevitable future pandemics are going to happen, continued economic downturn, and not to mention the lack of precedence for urban renewal actually helping working people. All these things seem to be brushed aside, and we've only really heard from people who will make money off of this. People are struggling right now. A lot of people are struggling right now. And at best, it's irresponsible to waste money on something that most people can't even afford to enjoy, especially when our money, time, energy could very well have gone into something that could benefit us. A lot of us Old City residents are recent graduates and young professionals who stayed in Knoxville because we love this city and we love living down here. We're worried this will drive up prices even more, which honestly feels like a slap in the face since it's already so unaffordable. And we're the ones who spend the most money downtown. People are talking about this in the media, especially like it's a done deal, as if elected officials have no power or no interest in protecting us. You're pushing the state legislature to approve this and shifting blame to the sports authority, but I'm simply asking you to deny this request so that the developers can't so easily force their scheme into fruition without considering those it'll negatively impact.